every solo founder eventually hits the same problem. The inbox becomes a task manager, a customer relationship management system, and a drafting workspace at once. The friction is not complexity, it is repetition. This is what changed when that workflow was redesigned using artificial intelligence. Each morning, the same routine repeats itself. The founder opens Gmail and is greeted by a wall of unread subject lines, invoices, client requests, newsletters, payment reminders. Sorting through this pile takes about 30 minutes just to flag anything that looks important. Then comes the manual work, reading through flagged emails, copying details into a spreadsheet, and dragging attachments over to Notion. Drafting replies for clients, searching for project IDs buried in threads, and reconciling payments in QuickBooks all demand focused attention. By noon, the inbox has already dictated the shape of the day. But the real toll isn't just the hours logged, it's the constant switching between scanning, copying, replying, and tracking, which quietly drains mental bandwidth. Each task is simple, but together they add up, an hour every day just on manual data entry, and 2 or 3 more lost to the friction of context switching. The inbox isn't just a communication tool, it's an unpredictable workload generator. The breaking point arrives quietly. One Tuesday, a contract amendment email slips past in the morning rush. The message sits unread, buried between a newsletter and a payment notification. By the time it is found, the payment deadline has passed. The result is a $1,200 late fee and a frustrated client. That single oversight turns a routine annoyance into a costly mistake. The founder realizes that every repeated step, every copy-paste, every missed flag carries a price, whether measured in dollars or in trust. The question becomes unavoidable. How much longer can this cycle continue before something fundamental has to change? The answer begins with structure. Instead of treating the inbox as a single, tangled stream, the founder breaks the workflow into 3 distinct layers: capture, interpret, and act. Each layer is designed for a specific role, separating the chaos of incoming messages from the organized flow of work. First, email capture. Gmail remains the intake channel, receiving every client request, invoice, and notification. But now, instead of relying on manual scanning, a trigger watches for new messages and hands them off at the moment of arrival. No more missed deadlines buried under unread newsletters. Next comes interpretation. Here, an AI layer takes over, not to make decisions, but to impose structure. Each email is classified into one of 4 categories: administrative, lead, client, or other. The AI summarizes the message in a single sentence, extracts action items with due dates and priorities, and drafts a concise reply. The output is always a structured JSON object, never free-form prose. This is not about creativity, it is about repeatable deterministic processing. If the model cannot infer a field, it leaves it blank. If confidence is low, the workflow routes the message for human review. Every step is auditable, every decision traceable. Finally, the act layer. Structured data flows into Notion, where each email becomes a task with a clear summary, checklist, and direct link back to the source. No more copy-pasting into spreadsheets or dragging files across tabs. If the email is a sales lead, a parallel branch can create or update a CRM record. The founder remains in control, reviewing and editing as needed, but the bottleneck is no longer manual handling. The system is designed for clarity, auditability, and speed, not for blind automation, but for reliable, scalable assistance. Inside the AI layer, every email runs through a fixed set of rules and a deterministic prompt. No improvisation, no guesswork. The system expects a response in a strict JSON format, with fields for category, summary, action items, reply draft, contact, and a source URL. Each field is governed by a schema that defines what is valid and what is not. If the AI cannot infer a value, it leaves that field blank. If it is unsure, it flags the item for review. There is no room for hallucinated data or stray text. The prompt itself encodes a hierarchy. Keywords like invoice or payment take priority for administrative classification, while phrases such as demo or partnership route the message as a lead. If both appear, the order of rules decides which category wins. For urgent requests, the presence of words like ASAP or urgent forces the priority field to high, regardless of category. Each decision point is traceable. If the input matches a rule, the output is always the same. After the AI responds, a validation step parses the JSON and checks it against the schema. Any mismatch, like a missing bracket or a wrong data type, triggers an error path and sends the email to a manual review log. The founder can see exactly which rule fired, which field failed, and why. This approach does not just reduce repetition, it makes every AI action auditable. The logic is transparent, the output predictable, and the workflow immune to silent errors that would otherwise slip through. In this model, the founder is not just a user, they are the steward of the prompt, tuning the rules and reviewing the low-confidence cases that automation cannot resolve. A supplier email arrives late in the afternoon. The subject reads, "Updated payment terms and next steps." Within seconds, the AI assistant parses the message, classifies it as administrative, and extracts two actions: review the attached contract by the end of the day and confirm payment within 48 hours. Each action becomes a checklist item in Notion, tied to the original email and tagged with a due date and priority. The summary field distills the thread into a single sentence, no more skimming paragraphs for the main point. The reply draft sits below, ready for review, trimmed to 2 sentences in a professional tone. The Notion database maps each field from the AI output, the sender's name, contact email, and a link back to the Gmail thread. The earliest due date rolls up to the top, flagging time-sensitive tasks without manual sorting. If the email is a lead, a parallel branch updates the CRM, creating or refreshing the contact record with a 48-hour follow-up task. The founder reviews the entry, adjusts the action description, and toggles the status to reviewed. Every step is visible, auditable, and persists beyond the inbox. The friction is not complexity, it is repetition. Now the inbox becomes a source of structured work, not a source of chaos. The founder acts as editor and reviewer, not as a human router or a data entry clerk. Safeguards are woven into every layer of the system. Before any email is processed, attachments are screened for sensitive content and size. If a message includes the word confidential or an attachment larger than 5 megabytes, it never touches the AI. Instead, it is routed directly to a secure folder with a Slack alert prompting manual review. This preserves privacy and keeps sensitive data out of third-party hands. For every other message, the workflow enforces strict validation. If the AI fails to produce valid JSON or cannot confidently classify a message, the system diverts it to a low-confidence queue. Each flagged email lands in a dedicated Notion view, marked for human review before any action is taken. An audit log captures every step, which rule fired, which field failed, and who made the final decision. This log is immutable, creating a clear trail for every automated action and manual override. The results are quantifiable. In the first 3 months, the founder tracked a drop in missed deadlines from 4% to just 0.5%. Hours spent on manual triage fell from 12 hours per week to under 6 hours per week. Each week, the audit log shows exactly how many messages were flagged, reviewed, and corrected. The system does not just move faster, it moves more reliably, with the founder always in the loop. Automation here is measured, not blind. Every gain is backed by a safeguard, and every risk is routed for human judgment. The inbox assistant is just the first layer. Once the daily flood of email has been transformed from noise into structured, reviewable work, new possibilities open up. The same automation stack that routes messages into Notion can also feed a weekly reporting dashboard. One additional Zap pulls task completion rates and open items from Notion, pushing them into Google Data Studio for a live snapshot of progress. The founder tracks a 15% productivity gain after adding this reporting layer. Less time is lost to status meetings, and there is more clarity on what is moving and what is stuck. A second layer automates lead nurture. When the AI flags a message as a lead, a follow-up sequence is triggered. The system reads the Notion entry, drafts a personalized reply using OpenAI, and schedules a check-in 2 days later. Each touchpoint is logged automatically, cutting manual follow-up time by an estimated 10%. The founder no longer has to remember which leads are waiting for a response. The system surfaces them at the right moment. Further downstream, knowledge capture becomes part of the same pipeline. Summaries and key action items from client threads flow into a documentation database, turning scattered conversations into a searchable internal knowledge base. Each layer compounds the effect of the last, building a foundation where the founder's attention shifts from routine handling to higher-level strategy. The inbox assistant is not the endpoint, it is the entryway to a broader stack that brings structure, leverage, and visibility to a one-person operation. Today, structured AI workflows let solo founders reclaim focus from repetitive email triage without ceding control or responsibility. As more operators adopt these tools, the bottleneck shifts from handling messages to deciding what matters. In the end, leverage still belongs to those who design their own systems. Share your approach below.